Welcome back to another episode of Fallen London. Since last time, December's exceptional story has unlocked the Persona engine. London's government departments compete as frequently as they cooperate. Recently expertly forged work orders have been eroding their capacities further. Alright, so this is a fate-locked story that I get because I'm an exceptional friend. And I think it starts here in that exceptional story. But I won't be doing exceptional stories on camera because that would kind of erode the business model of Fallen London and kind of give away all their secrets. So I'll just be playing the regular content on YouTube. And if I do play fake lock stuff, I'll just talk about it and discuss my impressions of what happened. All right, so let's keep going. Let's see. I think we're going to travel to increase my so we already have 30 shadowy and 27 persuasive, and I think we've done all the content in this section of the town in Vale Garden. So let's increase my watchfulness and travel to Ladybones Road. Alright, so we've already done the first two things we've already seen before. So there's making your name for the case of Honey Addle Detective. His mind is half gone, but his reputation remains. There's the Hallowmas edition. We've already seen that before. Study the secrets of London. Fallen London is a city of secrets. And go mudlarking. All kinds of things wash up on the shores of the Stolen River. Let's check out this first. Decipher graffiti. Visitors from hell come through here. Some of the scrawlings are bizarre, terrifying, or very, very funny. Some hold valuable secrets. You glean some intriguing tidbits from about recent promotions and demotions in the hierarchies of hell. 5 whispered hints. All right, let's go back to that and check out, listen to gossip at Hangman's Arch. Old women sell sugared mushrooms between executions at Hangman's Arch. They know a surprising amount about what goes on in the city. The old women gum and crackle and tell jokes that would make a Zaylor blush, while the bodies of seditionists are removed from the nooses and carted off to exile. You learn a few petty but valuable secrets about local politics, and at least villainies are going on, and the latest villainies going on in Flower Den Rookery. Got 10 whispered hints. Last constable. You keep hearing stories about a constable who isn't like the others, a woman who works alone. What secrets does she know? Perhaps you could set up a meeting. It bears only a scrawled address and time, but that's enough. All right, increase my watchfulness. Working with the last constable, she styles herself the last honest special constable in London, and wants to bring down the cheery man who controls Watchmaker Hill. Ask the last, so you can speak to the cheery man, or you can talk to the last constable. Talk to her about the feud. Perhaps you've heard stories about the cheery man too, the beatings, the drownings, and cuttings. Perhaps you're hoping for a reward, or perhaps you're just curious. You find her in a cramped office above Calgula's coffee house. She looks up from a stack of bills. You came. Thank you. I needed your help. She comes downstairs for a cup of coffee. The staff brings her the usual. A dangerously deep mug of number 4 special. She drains half of it in one swallow. I'm sorry. I haven't been sleeping well. I'm the only one left, you see. The only one. The others all work for the Ministry of Now. Master's puppets. You heard of the cheery man? He runs Watchmaker Hill and half the docks. The last constable squeezes your wrist with a trembling hand. I've heard of you. You're from the surface. You can help. Will you help? I'll send word to you. All right, we're connected. We got 2 intriguing snippets. Sounds like the constable will arrange a rendezvous. Okay. So there's some cards. We'll do that in a second. Yep. And then the constable's locked. We got to do some more cards to get her unlocked. Let's go mudlarking. All kinds of things wash up on the shores of the stolen river. If you have a good eye, you might get lucky. Poke around near the shore. Come in close. The mud is fairly safe. They say a lighter loaded with contraband wine just went down the other day. Now we got 10 bottles of Greyfields, 1879. Takes considerable sticking and revolting searching, but you found a broken case of wine half buried in the mud, and a few bottles still remain. Now for a long bath. Let's do that again and get some more wine. I think we wanted wine for our ambition. Go out as far as you can. The mud is treacherous, too far from shore, sticky and devouring. You'll need to keep a sharp eye out. You glimpse at what might be a case and step carelessly. The mud lets loose a great belch of gas and tries its hardest to draw you in. You break free, but only at the cost of a shoe. You flounder hastily back to shore, now for a long bath. Let's try this again. All right, there we go. Sliding carefully across the filthy stuff, you reach for an intact case of wine. Getting it back to shore isn't much fun. Now for a long bath. All right, we got 15. Let's travel back to see if we can make progress on our ambition. Now that we have some wine, I think it might be another spot. I think it's in Vale Garden. There it is. Ambition. Oh, it's still locked. We need Greyfields 1882. Guess we didn't get 1882. Check out what we did get. So we got 1879. We needed 1882. All right, so I guess we'll be back after we get some 1882 eventually. All right, let's go back to Ladybones Road. Let's do the case of the honeyed-addled detective. His mind is half gone, but his reputation remains. He contracts out work to up-and-coming investigators. That's an opportunity for you, but you'll have to find him first. Set out to track him down. It's a test, not an ordeal. Your skills will be sufficient. Let's locate this addled recluse. You've begun a case. Increase your detective progress to 10, and the detective will appear. Case difficulty quality is now 2. Look for the story with the jigsaw icon or opportunity cards. Let's continue finding them. All right, so these options are slow and steady. Find better avenues of investigation on opportunity cards. You can reason it out for using Watchful, 18% chance. Skill detective, this is a safe option. The picture begins to resolve, but what are you missing? 1 detective progress. So you can ask anyone with interest for 3 actions. It's kind of pricey. Or you can put together scraps of information for whispered hints. They want 20 whispered hints. And 2 actions. Yes, that would work. We got 6 detective progress. Now we're at 7. That's pretty sweet. And lost 20 whispered hints. Alright, we're going to get more of his stuff, hopefully through cards. Let's check out the cards. A particular thirst. The offerings at the Singing Mandrake are beginning to bore you. That's everything that's happened recently. You need something special. Inquire at the Singing Mandrake. The patrons take drinking seriously. Listen on the discussion. One suggestion is interesting. An apricot brandy smuggled down to the Neath from Maladay. Even the Duchess holds it in high regard. A bleary-eyed bohemian interrupts. It's not from Maladay. It's from the Elder Continent. And it's the widow's business. The topic changes quickly. Intriguing. You take some bottles of the usual home to help you think. All right, we got 3 bottles of 1872. Twist in your tail. You're now in search of a stiff drink. All right, let's check out this one. Tea with the Vicar. There's a note on your doorstep. Your reputation goes before you. May I call on you? Perhaps around 4. I wish to discuss. The note goes on and on. The writer loses his way, an inky mire of enthusiasm. But you get the general impression that he's a vicar, and a theologically adventurous one. He's left his card, at least. Investigate the vicar. Let's find out a little more first. Or welcome Warnley. Can do this up until you get to 11, I guess. A locus of gossip. He says he reads too much. Well, vicars do, but this one's been purchasing unorthodox books. He says he hobnows with free thinkers and tattoo artists. Got 10 whispered hints. Welcome Warnley. London fell, Devil's Walk, but the laws of hospitality still apply. He's a cheery, twitchy sort with an alarming stare, but a ready smile. You barely manage to get him seated before he starts. He's supposed to be asking you for your opinions, but he seems more interested in explicating his own. Of course, but tell me, have you read Finnegan's treatise on the channels of the soul? Nonsense, most of it. But it did raise some interesting points. This fellow's quite a find. You find him. You learn a surprising amount while your tea grows cold. 40 cryptic clues connected to the church. All right. A message arrives. It's a message from the last constable. Okay. And you can also meet with a cheery man, too, it looks like. This card appears with a frequent frequency. What's interesting is the 10 cards I had when I first started this session kind of changed on me because obviously they didn't contain this one. So it's kind of nice that they actually morph. They aren't just fixed when they get doled out in the pile. Anyway, let's do this one. Meet her in Ladybones Road to find out what the trouble is. And there's a dream card. I'll do that one later after we talk to her. She styles herself as the last honest special constable in London. See, finding the fence. They call him Forthright. He worked with a cheery man back in the old days. I think he's ready to talk. But the man's people are watching me. Will you help? Choose his option to track down the fence and get information for the constable. You can also go to the cheery man. This is a watchful one. Bunch of text. The cheery man's passed. He's hiding a rookery in the Spite market halls. In a stinking cubbyhole a rat wouldn't call home. He's terrified of you until you mentioned the last constable. Thought you were one of his. Look, I need to stay lost. I'll tell you what she wants to know, but then she has to leave me alone. The Juryman was governor of Spite years ago. Not even the masters could touch him, but then he was poisoned. Made him lame. Notice how he doesn't move from behind the bar? 'Cause he can't. Some reckon the masters was behind it, but it were the devils. He never would let out his lads sell souls. As he packed his pathetic belongings, he gives you a last piece of advice. Your constable, she's a decent sort, but she hasn't the sense to know which way the bats are flying. She'll get herself killed, and anyone who stands with her. When you return to Calaga's coffee house, the last constable listens carefully. Of course, that's why he never leaves the head, and the devils. He never did like the soul trade. I wonder, perhaps I could. No, not hell, not yet. Not unless there's no other way. Thank you. I'll contact you again. You're doing the right thing. She sounds as if she's trying to convince herself too. Okay, a card will appear in her hand shortly again. Let's see, we got some watching, 2 intriguing snippets. All right. There's also tea with the Vicar. We'll check out. It popped up too. Check out this dream card. You dream that you're standing on the deck of a tall ship. It's night. Thunder rumbles in the sky, but the sea is flat as a mirror. From beneath the deck, you hear a whisper rising and falling. North, north. All right. Having recurring dreams, death by water at 1. Your mysterious patron is a red-robed monk from the northern subcontinent, perhaps. He clicks a bead necklace nervously as he introduces himself. Seems that despite his disciple has gone missing. It's funny, you can throw him out on his ear. That hat was nice, but who does the monk think he is? You will not be importuned in your lodgings. All right, let's just do the track down the disciple. A skinny fellow with a begging bow. Not much to go on. But you know something of the tangle of footpad-haunted alleys where he went missing. You prowl the alleys around where the disciple went missing. There's no recent bloodstains, which is a good sign. There's nothing else physical to go on, but you chat to a footpad of your acquaintance who remembers something. A skinny lad was seen nearby, talking to a lady who was both fashionably dressed and extravagantly tattooed. There can't be many who fit that description. The red-robed monk is heartened by your progress. He encourages you to look further when you have the opportunity. His gift of candles is symbolic. All right, we got shadowy and shadowy. And connected to the widow and 50 candle stubs. That's nice. A meeting is requested at Vale Garden. Message from the blind pianist. The blind pianist improvises a simple meandering tune at her piano in a corner of a Vale Garden pub. Travel to Vale Garden to find out what she wants with you. All right. More cards. Another meeting. She keeps losing him in the fogs of spite. She needs you to help her find him. Something you should know, she says. As they both set off, he's my cousin. She's trying to track down one of his lieutenants. You creep together down fog-curled alleys, candlelight glowing from the windows above you. You've been at this for hours, but the last constable allows you no rest. There, the cousin. The last constable doesn't even shout a challenge, stepping in with her truncheon and smacking him down to the cobbles. You have to drag her off before the arrest becomes a murder. You confront her in her room above the Calgas. I'm sorry, that was unforgivable. Sometimes I lose my objectivity where my family's involved. Family? There's more to it than a cousin. Yes, she snaps. The cherry man is my father. It's not a secret, but I don't talk about it. Thank you for your help tonight, but please, I'll need more. There's so much to do. She'll arrange another card for another rendezvous. One identity uncovered. All right. Talk to the urchins. We've already seen this one. Let's try to leap in and help them, I guess. Nope. Oh, another meeting. That was fast. You entreat her to run, to hide, to take shelter with other special constables in the service of the ministry. It wouldn't help, she says. My father's had enough of me. Half the villains of London are coming for my head. And then it strikes you, London isn't the only place in need. The city has a colony on the elder continent, a place where a bold young woman could make a difference. And one day, when her father's attention is elsewhere, she could return. You work to convince her. In an hour, she is packed and hooded. Her steamer leaves Wolfstack docks before morning. Your goodbyes leave much unsaid. You take her remaining possessions to keep them out of rough hands of her father's men. I'll be back, she says. I promise. Do what you must here. One day, we'll bring him down. Story ends here. Story ends here for now. Nice. Chosen to aid them. 10 silk scrap, 1 cheerful goldfish, and a bottle of 68 for spring. Now let's go equip that cheerful goldfish. I think that gives you less nightmares. Just a bad thing to have. All right, let's go talk to the Vicar. Vicar's back, talking about everything and nothing. Let's have tea with him. You chance an ecclesiast cake, and that slows the loquacious Vicar down enough for you to make some sense of his words. He's writing a book. The definitive work on the nature of the soul and the Neath, he hopes. But he needs field research done. He's found a bruisery from the Bishop of Southwark. Well, this could be useful. Bursary. All right, Magnamus is increasing. So talk to him again. I need you to carry out field research. The nature of souls. I need you to find out whether a soul, having been removed, can be restored to a person, living or dead. Ask around. Find the authorities. I don't think we're ready for empirical work just yet. You need 100 whispered hints, all right? You hunt out rare books and scholars of the metaphysical. You listen to devils. You harangue this spirifer, a trader in souls. From what you gather, it's possible for a soul to be removed and then reattached to a living body. As to a dead one, nobody wants to talk about it. Even the spirifer blanches and heads away when you mention it. The curious Vicar is delighted and shares his boozery with you. Bursary. 300 candle stubs. Lost 100 whispered hints. Let's talk to him again. Very pleased with your last research. He'll pay to help. He like to know whether devils can die. All kinds of options. All right, these ones cost fate. Let's see. Acquire a companion, the quiet deviless. Where to begin? The corner of Chalkery Road. A gang of must youth is taunting a deviless as she hurries home. She turns and you recognize her face. She can probably take care of herself, but if she tears anyone to bits, it'll cause her difficulties and ruin her dress. Do you care? The deviless is a watchful, shadowy, bizarre companion who's usually not available. All right, and the other one is Green-Eyed Devil. You start your research in Dante's Grill, where the sold meet over the unsold, over coffees and ribs. Here you find yourself seated to a bar next to a striking devil in evening dress. Of unfamiliar cut, his eyes are mossy green, his teeth are unnervingly brilliant white, his smile is oddly shiny, or oddly shy. Penny for your soul, he asks. He corrects himself. Thoughts. That said, if you're offering, the devil's a watchful, shadowy, and dreaded companion who is usually not available. And both of them cost 50 fate, which is about $10. 45 fates for $10. It's kind of pricey, but you can't even do it even if you have the fate, because you still have to unlock the other prerequisite, which is kind of knowing about devils. All those things are locked, so you can't do those yet. All right, there's the find out the hard way, which is dangerous. And it says, if you hack a devil's head off, it dies. Then you've proven something. If you hack its head off and it lives, then you're not strictly proving that it can't die. And someone will be terribly cross. Perhaps it wasn't such a wonderful idea. No experiments. The legal status of devils is complex. And you might end up torn to pieces and sprinkled on the stolen river. You ask around the more infernally informed of your contacts. A few hours later, there's a whole court of devils, each inviting you to stab or strangle them. This can't go well. Let's try it again. There we go. The immortality of devils is uncertain. A few bravos have claimed to have killed one, but half the time the devil in question turns up later. Some well-known devils have been missing for years, but it's possible they were recalled rather than buried. But there are stories. One story says they can be drowned but not burned. Another says that beheading them will end them. A ravaged Gonif claims that he's seen a devil's corpse, but the story is a crazed rant about a fire and bees. Your ecclesiastical patron nods along to your report. He's unsurprised by the lack of clarity, though obviously a little disappointed. He rewards you with some oddities that have been turned up on the collection plate, but the information is reward enough. 4 certifiable scrap and 3 extraordinary implications. All right. see. He wants you to find out about a place up the river, hell. I don't mean you should pack a suitcase, and devils, of course, never speak of hell. But one hears of a military expedition in that direction many years ago. The army is close-mouthed about it. Can you help? You can ask veterans, or you can call this guy who we don't know yet. Perhaps they're dead or gone, back to the surface. Perhaps they're drunk in a gutter somewhere. Nobody wants to talk to you about hell. Alright, we're out of actions. Thanks for watching. See you again next time.